Hi, thank you for joining us for Holidays Are Coming, How to Enjoy Without Stressing Your Finances. My name is Charmaine Williams, and I'm the Financial Education Outreach Specialist at Consolidated Credit, where our mission is to assist families throughout the United States in ending financial crisis and solving money management problems through education and professional counseling. What we do is free budget and credit counseling, debt management services, housing counseling, which includes reverse mortgage, first-time homebuyer education, foreclosure prevention counseling, and the Florida Hardest Hit Fund program. Decide what you need to make the holidays a success. There are 3 steps to this process. Step 1, establish everything you'll need for the holidays. Step 2, create a holiday spending planner, which we'll discuss a little bit later. Step 3, balancing holiday costs with cash flow. First thing you want to do is start as early as possible. Spreading out holiday costs over 3 to 5 months instead of just 1 to 2 months will increase the amount of available cash flow you have to devote to your holiday costs. You want to temporarily reduce regular budget expenses. If you have discretionary expenses in your budget that are things you usually buy but don't necessarily need, you can cut those from your budget just before and during the holidays to improve your available cash flow. Reduce the number of times you dine out as a family. Take leftovers to work instead of going out to eat. Cut your entertainment budget or reduce the number of times you go to the salon. All of this will free up more cash to cover holiday costs. And always shop with your list. Your chances of making impulse buys are reduced when you shop with a list. Take your spending planners with you wherever you go so you can always have your list of holiday needs with you at all times. Don't deviate from the list to avoid overspending and extra charges from impulse purchases. Now we're going back to step 1, establishing everything you'll need for the holidays. First, you want to start with gifts. Who are you buying for, and what is each person getting? How many family members are you buying for, and what do you want to get for each of those people? Are you buying gifts for any of your friends or friends of the family? Will you need to buy gifts for any of your kids' friends? What about your neighbors? Also, do you want to give any gifts to your boss or coworkers? And will you be making any charitable donations this holiday season? The next on that list will be travel. Are you traveling at all during the holidays? If yes, will you be going by car or taking a train or a flight? Will you be staying with relatives or friends or have to reserve a hotel room? Do you need to hire a pet sitter or make arrangements for kennel boarding for your pets? And will you need someone to take care of anything in the home while you're away? Also, if you are flying, will you need to rent a car or can you use public transportation or get rides from your friends or family? The next thing is decorations. How much do you need to buy new decorations? Can you get away with using your existing decorations? If you're buying a tree, are you getting a live tree, or would it be more cost efficient to get an artificial tree that can be reused every year? And if you're hanging stringed lights and some bulbs are not functioning, can you find the bulb that's causing the problem and replace it individually, or will you need to purchase an extra set of lights to replace the entire string? The next on the list is meals. How many holiday meals will you be cooking this year? Will it be sit-down meals with courses, a dinner buffet, or a party with appetizers only? Can you ask your guests to bring some dishes or make the entire event a potluck? How many courses do you plan on serving? Are you serving more than one main dish to give guests options, or will everyone eat the same thing? And will you have more than one dessert option? Will you be serving cocktails, beer, or wine? And if so, will you be supplying everything, or could you make the event a BYOB, bring your own bottle? The next on the list is guests. Will any friends or family be staying with you for the holidays? If so, how many days will they stay in your home? Do you need to buy extra bedding, toiletries, or any other household items? How will your guests affect your regular weekly grocery costs? And will your guests be staying long enough to increase your utility costs? And last but not least is holiday shipping. How much will you need to depend on shipping this year? How many people will you be sending holiday cards to in the mail? How much will you need for postage? Will you be sending any gifts via the mail? And if mailing gifts, can you send them early enough to take advantage of low-cost ground shipping options, or will you need to send it by express or airmail? A few things to think about before you buy. Ask yourself, do you really need it? The holiday spending frenzy yields an unhealthy and often paradoxical mix of entitlement. We think to ourselves, my family deserves a big Christmas. Or it can lead to resentment, which we think, I can't believe I have to drop $250 on groceries and spend all day cooking again this year. Another question to ask yourself is, can you use the money in a better way? Of course you can. Make a donation to a charity on your family's behalf, or pay off debt. Make an extra mortgage payment. The next question is, can you really afford it? Remember, typical payoff time for holiday debts is 4 months. A $1,200 tab charged to your credit card at 17% interest will take almost 20 years to pay off and cost over $2,076 in interest, if you only make the required minimum payments. And last but not least, stop spending on autopilot. We're budgeting for the holidays, so every time you put gas in the car, pay the lawn or pool service, rent a movie, grab a soda or a coffee, write it down. Now we're going to talk about developing an effective holiday spending plan. So when you're creating your holiday spending planner, you want to factor in your gift costs. Who's going to be the recipient of these gifts, what you're going to purchase, the planned costs on what you plan on spending, and then what the actual cost is. So once you know what's going into your holiday, write everything down in one place and calculate the total costs. This will allow you to easily assess if your holiday spending will fit into the available cash flow in your household, or if you need to make adjustments to avoid overspending on credit. The next step in our holiday spending planner is non-gift costs. Again, these items will include travel, decorations, meals, any guests that will be staying in your home, and holiday shipping. So have your planned costs, and then when you do it, have your actual costs. So this way you know how much you'll be spending for the holiday season. How are we going to pay for the holidays? Well, you don't want to shop all at the last minute and put down a bunch of cash. So opt for Layaway. Prior to the explosion of easy credit, Layaway was a common retail offering. For a small fee, shoppers reserved an item and paid for it in installments. And when you finished paying, you got to take it home. A few stores that offer Layaway are Sears, Toys R Us, Walmart, and Kmart. The big plus to Layaway is that you're not paying interest as you would with a credit card. However, you're still paying a fee, usually around $5 or $10, just to spend your own money. If you don't have the discipline to save any other way, Layaway can be a good option. You want to go into it with a strategy and avoid impulse purchases or overspending, and factor the payments into your budget. Don't be afraid to shop clearance. Mind you, the clearance racks are placed in the back of almost every mall store on purpose, so you'll be tempted by everything else more expensive in your path. Resist that urge. Head to the clearance area first and find the best deals. This way, you will have a frame of reference for comparing prices of similar items in other parts of the store and will be able to make smarter choices. Also, don't shop when you're rushed for time, because this leads to making rash decisions. Now, when you're using Layaway, ask how the store holds the item. If you decide to do that, see if the store takes the item off the shelf when you put it on Layaway. If not, and it's sold out, will they get you one, or will they refund you your money? Always read the fine print of the Layaway agreement regarding fees and finishing and refunds process, just in case you have to return something. And keep your records organized. Keep all documentation in one place, get a receipt for each payment, and staple them to the contract, and take it with you when you go to the store. The next thing on paying for the holidays are Christmas clubs or direct deposit. Now, your mother probably had a Christmas club account at a local bank or credit union. You might remember her faithfully depositing maybe $5 or $10 a week all year long to save up money for the holidays. But is this a simple method of saving for the holidays? It might be. A Christmas Club account, which is really not a club at all, is simply a special short-term savings account set up by a financial institution to encourage nest egg building for the holidays. Most can be opened with a nominal deposit. There are a few financial perks to be gained from Christmas clubs, where these accounts have no return, and you usually cannot take out the money until the start of the holiday season, usually around November 1st. But the point, of course, is not to make a killing on compound interest, but to safeguard your money from yourself so you have enough funds to spend for gifts or even travel during the holidays, and it helps prevent a pile of credit card debt in January. While some banks still offer Christmas Club accounts, credit unions by far are still the champions of this type of savings vehicle. According to the Credit Union National Association, nearly 72% of credit unions run Christmas clubs, and consumer interest in these clubs is holding steady. Here are a few tips to simplify your holidays. The first one, make your own gifts, cards, wrapping paper, and bows. Nothing says I love you like something handmade. If you need inspiration for handmade gifts, etc., check out sites like Pinterest or even Martha Stewart's website. Remember to use a credit card, just one, and make sure to pay it off in full and on time. Number 3 is write your spending limit on an envelope and put it in your wallet. Put your receipts in the envelope every time you've made a purchase. Once you've reached your limit, stop using that credit card. You can also do this with cash as well. Once you've budgeted and you've put your spending plan in place, you know how much money you're opting to spend. Put that amount in the envelope, and when that's finished, so is your shopping. The next is scour thrift stores, yard sales, flea markets, and other secondhand sources for gift-worthy items at prices well below retail. Set spending limits for gifts for each person, and look for bargains early. Talk with friends and family members about not exchanging gifts or about drawing names or a secret Santa. Have friends and family over for dessert rather than a full meal. Or, again, you could make it a potluck where everyone brings a dish. And the last is give certificates for your time or talent. If you're the best baker in the family, give a certificate for baking maybe cupcakes or a cake for your cousin's daughter's school bake-off or something. Use your head. Those are great ideas. The next tips for holiday spending are make a list and check it twice. Do like Santa. Give a gift idea and a spending range for each person to include holiday decorations, entertainment costs. Add all of that to your spending plan. Avoid frenzy spending. Don't buy things you really don't want or need. You want to avoid overspending by checking prices online and sticking to your shopping list. You also want to avoid the most crowded retail days because that can be stressful and hectic. Don't be your own Santa. Very common holiday budget buster. Are you swayed by something that would be perfect for you? Don't buy it. Instead, put it on your wish list or wait until after the holidays to maybe buy it on sale. Know your limits. Your credit score can drop significantly if you overuse your credit cards. Aim to keep your holiday credit card balances well below 35% of your total credit limits. Use cash if possible. If you have a day of big holiday shopping ahead of you, withdraw the amount of cash you'll need and use that instead of credit cards. It's much easier to notice when you've spent your budget if you use cash instead of plastic. Now, if you need to use your credit card, have a plan in place for paying it off. No one wants to start the new year burdened with credit card debts. Avoid retail credit card offers. Saving 15 to 20% on your purchase can be tempting, but the negative consequences of opening a new credit card could outweigh your savings. And lastly, watch out for identity theft Grinches. Identity thieves love the holidays. Many busy consumers stop paying attention to their credit and personal information, leaving a big window for theft. You can guard against holiday identity theft by shredding receipts and catalogs and reviewing your statements closely and checking your credit reports. Spending mistakes that are often made during the holidays include lack of planning. You want to take advantage of sales and bargains throughout the year as you see them. Overusing credit cards. Only use your credit card if you know you can repay the balance within 30 to 60 days. The next is buying impulsively. Know about comparable products and their price ranges prior to shopping in a store or purchasing that product online. Having an unrealistic budget. You want to be honest with yourself and your financial position to avoid any pitfalls. The next is shopping without spending limits. Always have a predetermined spending limit that correlate with your monthly spending budgets. Forgetting to plan for next year. You want to start planning immediately for the holiday shopping next year. Budget your spending and keep an eye out for sales and bargains. Ignoring gift-giving alternatives. Give the gift of time or services. Offer coupons to spend time together. Wrap your gifts with something other than traditional wrapping paper. If you have kids at home, give them a large sheet of brown packing paper and have them draw holiday-themed pictures and use that as wrapping paper. You can also use freezer paper and take a nice sheet of tissue paper and iron them together to make lovely gift wrap. Be creative. Make your own bows. If you're a scrapbooker, then you probably have some stamps and ink that you can use as well. The next mistake is waiting to shop until the last minute. Last-minute shoppers are normally forced to pay the highest prices and get the worst deals with the least selection. And another is bringing more cash than you need. You should only bring as much cash as you need when you go shopping. Now we're going to get into money-saving websites. If you're like a lot of people now, obviously you do most of your shopping online. There are tons of websites out there that can help you save money. Coupons, cashback, etc. Sites like Retail Me Not that give you online and in-store coupons. Ebates.com that gives you cashback on purchases made online at some of your favorite stores. There is also Checkout 51 that gives you cashback on everyday items and groceries. And always remember that most stores match prices, or if not, beat them. So if you happen to find the same item at another store for a better price, don't be afraid to let them know. We're going to talk about a few fun family activities that won't break the bank this holiday season. First things first, do something fun and exciting. Go on a holiday lights tour. There are always those neighborhoods that go all out for the holiday season. Pile everyone into the car and drive around to the neighborhoods that are known for their over-the-top light displays. You can even make it a contest within the car for which home you think is the best decorated. And the most you spend is some gas money. The next is have a Christmas movie night. Pop some popcorn, get some juice and soda, and have the whole family watch their favorite holiday flick. The next, make your own holiday decorations. Again, this is where Pinterest comes in handy. Get the kids together to make decorations for the tree or a wreath for the door. Grab some packing paper, markers, stamps, paint, and have at it. It's a great way to make one-of-a-kind original wrapping paper. Get cardstock and make handmade greeting cards for friends and family. The next is baking holiday cookies. Sugar cookies, gingerbread men, and snickerdoodles. This is a great way to get everyone involved. Younger kids can add pre-measured ingredients, stir the bowl, and decorate, while older kids can pitch in with almost any step with the proper adult supervision. The next is attend a Christmas concert. You want to check out the events calendar at your child's school or the events page in the local newspaper for free or inexpensive holiday concerts, plays, or pageants. The next is have a hot chocolate buffet. This is a great idea, especially for those in colder states. Make a buffet of toppings for your hot chocolate like marshmallows, whipped cream, shaved chocolate, cinnamon sugar, or crushed candy canes. This is a great way to get creative, and you never know, you may be the next one to invent the brand new hot chocolate flavor. Another one is play in the snow. Now again, this isn't going to be for everybody, but I remember when I was a kid going outside and having the time of my life tobogganing. And lastly is donating your time. This is another great way to get your kids involved in giving back. Spend some time helping out a local retirement home or a homeless shelter and possibly bring some joy to others who otherwise wouldn't have a great holiday season. What are some of the questions we're going to ask ourselves this holiday season? Well, first things first, what's the one thing that you don't want to do this holiday season? Overspend. How many times have we said that we're not going to overspend this year? Then you get your credit card or bank statement in the mail and you ask yourself, what did I buy? If you want to avoid overspending, make that list and absolutely stick to it. Follow your spending guide closely. The next is, how can I make the holidays less stressful? Well, for one thing, don't try to please everybody. That's one of the biggest mistakes that you can make. And then, how can I spend less yet enjoy the holidays? Again, as for spending less, be creative. We all have something that we like to do in our spare time. So knit, crochet, sew, craft. Again, handmade gifts mean so much more because they come from the heart. You took the time to make them, and the ones that are on the receiving end have a tendency to cherish them more. So just to wrap up what we covered, these are some of the do's and don'ts for the holiday season. Do make a holiday shopping budget. Write down everything you'll need, include gifts, decorations, food, travel, etc. Determine if your available cash is enough to cover these expenses, and streamline your monthly spending to meet that goal. And absolutely stick to that budget. The next is start shopping early. Reduce the financial impact on your monthly budget by taking advantage of sales and the best deals. This helps you avoid rush shipping and frenzy shopping. The next, pay as much as possible in cash. Spend the money you already have. If you can, leave credit cards at home. Use debit cards or write checks. Stick to your shopping list and track your spending. If you are using a credit card, you do want to monitor those purchases carefully. You want to have a plan in place to pay them off. Try to avoid paying interest. Use a debt repayment calculator to help you determine cost-effective ways for paying off your debt, and keep track of what you spend. You want to save your receipts because items often go on sale after the holiday rush. And you do want to stock up. Buy universal gifts such as picture frames, coffee table books, photo albums, or kitchen gadgets when they are deeply discounted, especially throughout the year, because these are great for last-minute gifts or in case you happen to forget someone on your list. Now we're going to talk about the don'ts. Don't shop without your list. Again, the holiday budget is only good if you stick to it. Don't make impulse buys. Impulse buys account for 40% of total spending in the U.S. Stay away from eye-catching store displays. 50% off an item paid on a credit card could end up costing you much more than the original retail price. Don't forget to factor all holiday costs. Remember, if anyone's going to be staying with you during the holidays, if you're traveling, what about airfare and hotel accommodations? And don't forget airport parking and checked bags. Don't wait until the last minute. Everything is more expensive as you get closer to the holidays. All expenses in 1 month versus spreading them out over a few months could mean a big difference. And don't get caught in the save more if you apply for a credit card today. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a happy holiday season.